Welcome to Stories for Sleep, a small, quiet space where scientific stories are told in a gentle, slow voice, soothing the mind and bringing you closer to a natural, effortless sleep. Here we believe that knowledge does more than illuminate the mind, it can also soften the heart. Each video is a tender journey through the wonders of the brain, psychology, dreams, emotions, and the delicate mysteries of the inner life. You don't need to try to concentrate. You don't need to remember anything. Just lean back, listen, and let these calm words flow through you like warm water moving over your skin. Tonight, we'll step into a new story, an invitation to relax, to loosen your grip on the day, and to give your mind the chance to rest in the most natural way. Wishing you a gentle journey. And now, let us begin. Beneath the layers of silence in the night, when the world begins to slow, and each breath softens, we often discover that our minds continue to speak. They whisper old stories, unnamed desires, and small drifting worries floating like dust in the air. Many people believe that to sleep peacefully we must extinguish these voices entirely. But through the lens of Carl Gustav Jung, the mind is not a machine to be switched off. It is a mystical current seeking a chance to be understood. It is in that moment before sleep, when consciousness gently recedes, that we can touch the stillest waters of our inner world, where small secrets about who we are quietly wait to be found. This video is created as a gentle journey guiding you into that world, a collection of 100 soothing facts about the mind, each one soft as a cool breeze, helping you not only understand yourself more deeply, but also release the subtle tensions you carry. It is an invitation to sink into the depths of your soul, where the unconscious moves in silence, where memories are rewoven, where intuitions, imaginations, and delicate emotions shape the texture of your daily experience. Each fact is a small point of light, illuminating the mysterious mechanisms of the mind, reminding you that you are not lost within your complex thoughts, that everything arising inside you has its own reason, its own message. Let each sentence flow slowly through you, as though you are listening to an ancient tale retold in a whisper. Let curiosity lead you deeper, softer, until your mind begins to loosen its grip and the waves of thought round out into calmness. And then, as you drift within this journey of discovering 100 wondrous fragments of the psyche, perhaps you will feel sleep drawing near, like a gentle friend quietly approaching, resting a hand on your shoulder and saying, "It is time to rest now." 1. The unconscious mind shapes our lived experience. When you close your eyes, can you feel it? That beneath the quiet layer of thoughts resting inside you, there is still a deeper current, older, more enduring, quietly flowing on a current. Neither loud nor hurried, yet holding the subtle power to shape your entire lived experience each day. Carl Gustav Jung called this the unconscious, an inner realm so vast that our consciousness is like a small candle trying to illuminate the infinite darkness of a boundless cave. We often believe we live by reason, that we choose, decide, and respond with clarity and self-control. But the truth, a truth both gentle and astonishing, is that most of what we do has already been shaped beforehand, in the very moment before consciousness has time to speak. We act first and only afterwards search for the reason. We feel something, and only then does the mind construct a story to explain that feeling. We react, and only later understand why we reacted that way. This is not our fault. It is the way the mind was designed to shield us from the chaos of the world and the complexity within ourselves. Imagine standing before the mirror in the morning. You see your face, your eyes, the lingering traces of dreams. You believe you are perceiving through consciousness, but in truth, long before consciousness begins to interpret, the unconscious has already recognized what you are sensing: a faint sadness, an indescribable premonition, a brief and unexpected peace, or even a passing memory with no clear shape. Jung once said, The unconscious mind is not only where we store what we forget, but also where we discover things we don't yet know about ourselves. Every feeling you saw in the mirror this morning, every fleeting intention, every small movement of the heart, was prepared by the unconscious long before. Consciousness arrives later, like a storyteller trying to arrange pieces that were already in place. It is the same when you walk into a familiar room before you notice the wall color or the chair. The unconscious has already scanned the space, checked for safety, identified risks, stirred memories associated with the room, and delivered to consciousness a processed version of reality. Your conscious mind receives only the final result, an experience arranged to be understandable, bearable, and easy to manage. Let me tell you a small story, very soft, like a whisper brushing past your ear at night. A man walks into a cafe. He has never been here before, but the moment the door opens, something tightens inside him. He doesn't know why. The coffee smells warm. The gentle yellow lights glow. The tables are tidy. Everything is fine, and yet the uneasy feeling lingers, vague and deep. His conscious mind struggles to explain. Am I tired? Is the lighting too dim? Is the barista unfriendly? But in truth, the unconscious has noticed something he has not. The scent of the old wood in the cafe evokes a distant childhood room, place where he once felt lost. A memory without form, without words, yet strong enough to move his body shape, his attitude, and influence the decision he is about to make. This is how the unconscious operates. It moves first, and consciousness runs behind, searching for the explanation. Jung believed that the unconscious is not merely the place where we store wounds, memories, or shadows. It is also where instinct, creativity, intuition, primal wisdom, and the call toward personal growth reside. What you like, what you avoid, the choices that seem random all bear the marks of the unconscious. You are drawn to one person but not another. You trust someone in the first moment you meet their eyes. You fear something without knowing why. You feel captivated by a certain figure, an artist, a character, a color, even when reason cannot explain it. That is the unconscious, acting as a compass. It guides you toward what you need in order to become yourself, even if what you need may also frighten you. If the unconscious is the ocean, consciousness is only a small boat drifting on its surface. The boat still matters. It helps you navigate, make decisions, and communicate with the world. But it cannot see the vast undercurrents below. Most of the time, the unconscious is the one steering. Consciousness simply fine-tunes, takes notes, and retells the story in the clearest way it can. Consciousness is like a temporary guest in a house that existed long before it arrived. Every hallway, every passage, every hidden corner of that house, the unconscious, built over years, over lifetimes, over generations. And this is truly beautiful. Human beings do not always understand themselves. We do not always hold control. We do not always know why we are sad, why we are joyful, why we choose one path and not another. But Jung saw this not as a weakness, but as the threshold of inner discovery. If consciousness were everything, life would be painfully narrow. It is because the unconscious is vast, mysterious, and ever-changing that each person becomes a living, sacred story, unlike any other. When your heart is hurting, the unconscious may seal away memories to protect you. When you are overwhelmed, it creates dreams to restore balance. When you face danger, it orders your body to react instantly before you have time to think. It does not wish to confuse you. It wishes to keep you safe, and sometimes it wishes to help you grow. Jung believed that psychological maturity begins the moment we stop trying to control everything with consciousness and instead learn to dialogue with the unconscious, not through logic, but through gentle attention, intuition, dreams, art, and the quiet moments just before sleep. When we listen to the unconscious, we begin to sense the most delicate movements of the soul, unacknowledged desires, unnamed fears, forgotten creative parts, shaded inner regions waiting to be held in compassion. This is the journey Jung called individuation, becoming the fullest version of who we are meant to be. Every moment of your life, Every fleeting emotion, every irrational decision, every sudden stirring of your heart bears the imprint of the unconscious. It functions like background music, always present, always influencing, even when we do not notice it. And when you understand this, you stop blaming yourself for strange reactions. Instead, you learn to smile softly, because you know your mind is trying to protect you in its own quiet way. In the moment, before you fall asleep, when consciousness drifts back like a thin layer of mist, you begin to hear the whispers of the unconscious more clearly. Old memories, unusual images, feelings not yet understood, quiet desires, gentle reminders from your deepest nature. That is why videos like this, storytelling, guiding, soothing, allow the unconscious to speak in ways it cannot during the day. Perhaps the most beautiful thing Jung wanted us to understand is this: we are never alone within our own mind. There is always another part of us, deeper, wider, wiser, walking beside us through every moment. A part that never sleeps, never abandons us, never stops sending signals to help us live in alignment with our true self. When you understand this, your mind ceases to be frightening. It becomes familiar. It becomes gentle. It becomes a quiet companion, always present, always guiding, always whispering, "Rest easy. I am here, too." Reality is a constructed structure. As we gently close the first chapter, where the unconscious appeared as the silent architect of our emotions, decisions, and reactions, another door of the mind slowly opens. For if the unconscious has the power to shape our inner world, then it also quietly shapes the way we see the outer one. Perhaps you've always believed that you perceive reality as it truly is, that your eyes receive images, your ears take in sounds, and your brain arranges everything exactly as it exists outside. But Jung gently reminds us, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. If what is inside shapes the way we see, then is the reality we speak of truly objective? Or is it a mental map each of us has unconsciously drawn? And that is where part 2 begins, where we step into a miraculous truth. Reality is not something we receive. It is something we construct. Imagine yourself lying still in a darkened room, hearing only the soft rhythm of your breath. There, in the gentle darkness, you may feel the world blur slightly, soften, dissolve into a thin layer of mist. In that moment, you realize that reality is less sharp than it appears by day. It becomes pliable, fluid, as though the mind is painting the world with its own quiet brushstrokes. And the truth is, the same happens during the day. We simply notice it less. Most people think the brain operates like a camera opening itself, recording data, then sending information into consciousness. But modern neuroscience and Jung, through his symbolic lens, both agree that this is not what happens. The brain does not wait for the world to appear. It predicts it before we even perceive it. Every time you see an object, hear a sound, touch a surface, your brain does not begin from zero. It uses memories, emotions, unconscious patterns, and past experiences to anticipate what will happen next. Only when its prediction fails too dramatically does it adjust. You are not seeing the thing. You are seeing the version your mind finds most reasonable. Jung once wrote, "The psyche creates reality every day." He did not mean the physical world doesn't exist, but that our experience of the world is shaped by the mind before consciousness ever arrives. When you look at a starry sky, you see constellations Ursa, Major, Orion, Cygnus, but the stars aren't connected at all. It is your mind that draws the lines. Jung called this the symbolic tendency of the psyche, its desire to organize chaos into shapes, stories, and meaning. The mind cannot tolerate disorder. It needs a coherent reality, even if that means repairing or inventing information. You do not see what your eyes see. You see what your brain allows you to see. Just as when you hear an interrupted sentence, the brain instantly fills the gap. You don't even realize you are imagining the missing words, because the process is fast and unconscious. The reality we perceive, is a picture edited, predicted, and curated by the mind. We often think our small illusions, memory mistakes, or cognitive biases are errors, but in truth they are survival mechanisms. If the brain didn't simplify the world, we would drown in information. If it didn't predict, we would be too slow to respond. If it didn't color reality with emotions and experience, we couldn't make decisions at all. The brain is wrong because absolute correctness would destroy us. In the dark, when you see a vague shape, the brain assumes danger. Even if 99% of the time it is harmless, that 1% once kept our ancestors alive. And in modern life, the same mechanism continues quietly beneath awareness. We think we see the world, but in truth we see a version of it optimized for our safety. Jung believed the human psyche has many layers, each contributing to the construction of reality. Emotions, what you feel; colors, what you see. A sad day makes the sky look heavy. A joyful day makes the same sky glow. We think the world changes, but it is the mind that changes. Memory. Every time you enter a new place, the mind seeks familiar signals, colors, scents, sounds. A single spark of memory can shift your entire perception. Memory is not about the past. It shapes the present. The collective unconscious, Jung wrote that humans share a deep psychic layer containing archetypes. These universal symbols shape experience without explanation. A forest feels sacred. A cave feels mystical or dangerous. The sea feels vast, humbling yet freeing. No one teaches you this. You inherit it. And the collective unconscious also helps build the reality you live in. The outer world does not arrive as raw data. Your mind turns it into a story. Two people can attend the same event, yet return with entirely different stories. Not because one is right and the other wrong, but because each one's reality is constructed by their past, their beliefs, their fears, their desires. Jung once wrote, "The world hangs on a thin thread, and that is the psyche of man." Objective reality does not determine our lived experience. The structure of our mind does. The psyche uses 3 quiet mechanisms. Omission, removing unnecessary details to prevent overload. You rarely notice your breath or the feeling of your feet. Addition, filling in gaps when information is missing. When you hear a broken sentence, the brain completes it. Transformation, altering input to match expectations, beliefs, or familiar patterns. These 3 mechanisms make your lived reality very different from raw reality. And that difference is precisely what allows you to live without being overwhelmed. Many people feel uneasy when they realize their memory isn't perfectly accurate. But Jung would smile because he understood that memory was not built to record the past. It was built to serve the present. Every time you remember, you recreate. Memory is not a film strip. It is a painting constantly changing with every new brushstroke. This is not a flaw. It is how the mind helps you grow. When you look at the world, you believe you're seeing it. But most of the time you are seeing yourself reflected through it. An anxious heart sees danger. A hopeful heart sees opportunity. A sorrowful heart sees gray skies. A loving heart sees light everywhere. The world outside hasn't changed. Your perspective has, and once perspective shifts, all of reality transforms. Jung wrote, "The psyche is the greatest of all cosmic wonders, and that wonder is what creates the world you live in." When we believe our perceptions perfectly reflect reality, we suffer. We think others intend to hurt us. We believe failure defines us. We mistake loneliness for destiny. We feel unsafe because the mind is coloring the world with fear. But when we understand that reality is constructed, a gentle relief appears. Not every thought is true. Not every emotion is a prophecy. Not every memory is evidence. Not every perception is objective reality. Most are simply stories the mind is telling. Stories shaped through prediction, adjustment, and quiet imagination. Realizing this doesn't make us distant from the world. On the contrary, it softens us, makes us clearer, kinder, less fearful, less attached to absolute truth, and more open to the realities others inhabit. Because each of us is living in a world our mind has crafted in its own unique way. And that is what makes human beings mysterious, unrepeatable, and profoundly beautiful. 3. Memory, identity, and the ever-shifting self. As we close Part 2, where reality appeared as a gentle mirror quietly crafted by the mind, a subtle realization begins to form. If the outer world is not entirely fixed, not absolutely objective, and is shaped by the mind itself, then what about the world within us? If memory can change color, if emotions shape the world we see, if the unconscious creates the structure of experience, then the very self, the thing we believe to be stable and unchanging, is it truly fixed? Jung once wrote in The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, "The self is not a static thing but a process." And that is what leads us into Part 3, where we explore a tender and profound truth. Memory, identity, and the self are never still. They move, reshape, and transform like flowing water, never the same from one moment to the next. Imagine sitting before a still lake. The surface is calm, as sleep reflecting the whole sky. You lean down and see your reflection, a familiar image seemingly identical to yourself. But with just a single ripple, a breeze, or a falling leaf, the reflection bends, breaks, and reforms into something new. Our memories are like this. Our identity is like this. And the self, which many people believe to be unchanging, is that very surface, always in motion. When you close your eyes and recall a moment from the past, you may believe you are replaying a perfectly preserved film in the mind. But the truth, a truth both tender and quietly disarming, is that memory does not function like a camera. Memory is more like a painter. And each time we remember, the painter adds new strokes, softens old shadows, changes colors, or brightens certain corners. Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Because when we remember, we are not only facing the memory itself, we are facing the person we have become while remembering it. A wounded child may grow up and revisit the same moment with compassion. A past joy may taste bittersweet after loss. An old mistake may become a source of strength through maturity. Memory never rests. It grows with us, shifts with us, matures with us. It is a river, not a stone. Memory is recreated each time we recall it because present emotions color the past. When we are sad, memories grow dim. When we are joyful, memories brighten. Our current state becomes a tinted lens over yesterday. Meaning changes as we evolve. Something once insignificant may later become deeply important. A wound may transform into a lesson. A former dislike may turn into appreciation. The unconscious participates in every recollection. It adds symbols, metaphors, and intuitions we never consciously notice. Memory is not designed to preserve truth. It is designed to help us survive, understand ourselves, and keep moving forward. And if memory changes, then identity woven from memory cannot remain still. Each of us lives like a story. We tell ourselves we are strong or fragile, introverted or extroverted, a failure or a success. But these stories are only true for certain chapters. Then something happens. A turning point arrives. Someone enters our life. A dream shifts our relationship with ourselves, and we rewrite the story. Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Self-acceptance is difficult, not because we don't know who we are, but because we are always changing and grasping ourselves. It's like trying to hold water flowing through our hands. Many people ask, "So, who am I really?" Jung would smile and say, "You are what you are becoming." A human being is not a stone carved from the beginning. We are a movement, a continual dance between what we have been, what we are now, and what we are growing into. Identity is an unfinished manuscript. It is rewritten each time we learn, each time we hurt, each time we love, each time we fall or rise again. In 2 essays on analytical psychology, Jung describes the persona, the social mask we wear to interact with the world. He wrote, The persona is a complicated system of relations between individual consciousness and society. The outer self, the part we show, is not our whole being. It is a mask we create to belong, survive, be loved, feel safe. And this mask changes with each season of life, when we begin working, when we fall in love, when we become parents, when we lose someone, when we grow, when we face our own shadow. The self is not fixed. It is like clothing, we change from one season to another. Jung distinguished between the ego and the self. The ego is always changing. The self is unchanging, not in a rigid way, but in essence, even as its expression unfolds through the deeper layers of the psyche. The self is the seed. The ego is the leaves that change with the seasons. The self is the ocean. The ego is the wave upon its surface. The ego shifts so that the self may gradually reveal itself. As Jung wrote, the self is our life's goal, for it is the completest expression of that fateful combination we call individuality. Try looking back at your own life. You are no longer the child you once were. You are no longer the person you were 5 years ago. Even the you from yesterday, with all those thoughts, emotions, and assumptions, has already drifted away. We live like rivers, always flowing, always changing, yet always ourselves. The person who believes their identity never changes suffers more. But the one who understands that identity is a process becomes gentler. I am allowed to change. I am allowed to become. I am allowed to rewrite my story. I am allowed to heal. I am allowed to begin again. Because memories are not fixed, wounds are not fixed. We can look at old events through new light. We can bring compassion to places that once held anger. We can bring maturity to places that once held fear. Jung said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." Memory does not imprison us. It is simply the raw material from which we create a better version of ourselves. We fear change only when we believe identity is fixed. But when we understand identity is open, fluid unfolding, we begin to resist less fear. Less and more easily release what has grown old. Identity is like a sailboat. The wind shifts, the direction changes, but the final destination remains the vast ocean of the self. An ego too rigid breaks. An ego too proud suffers. An ego that is flexible, willing to learn, bend and bow, becomes strong. In the quiet of night, just before sleep, when all masks fall away, that is when we are closest to our true nature, not a completed nature, but a nature in the midst of becoming. Perhaps the most beautiful gift Jung left us is not a theory, but a gentle reminder. You are not the final version of yourself. You are a process. You are changing. You are becoming. Memory reshapes itself so you may keep living. Identity shifts so you may align with your path. The ego bends so you may grow. Nothing within you is wrong. Nothing within you is broken. Everything is simply moving like a river toward the most complete version of who you are meant to be. And now, as you soften and prepare to drift into sleep, let this awareness settle lightly in your heart, like a quiet breath. You are changing. You are evolving. You are becoming. And that is beautiful. 4. Imagination, daydreaming, and prediction are core powers. As we have just closed part 3, where memory, identity, and the self appeared as ever-moving streams, never still for a single moment, a gentle realization begins to breathe through. If the self is not fixed, if identity is always in motion, if memory is a recreating current, then what guides this whole process forward? What gives us the ability to imagine the person we might be tomorrow, to heal yesterday's wounds, to rewrite our own story, and to keep growing, even when life does not hand us a clear path? Jung once wrote, "The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct, acting from inner necessity." The play instinct, the instinct to imagine, the instinct to dream and to form inner images. It is imagination, which many dismiss as frivolous, that forms the bridge between who we are and who we might become. And this is where Part 4 begins. A journey into the core power of imagination, daydreaming, and the ability to predict 3 secret faculties that fashion each person's future. Imagine you are lying in a quiet room, a muted light falling from the window. No sound, no movement, nothing to stimulate the senses. Yet in that stillness, your mind does not stand idle. It begins to sketch soft outlines, a hazy image of tomorrow, a vividly colored memory of yesterday, a desire not yet formed, a fear, light as smoke, a story waiting to continue. And then you notice a small miracle. Even when the outer world is still, the inner world keeps creating. Many think imagination belongs only to children, artists, or dreamers. But for Jung, imagination is a fundamental psychic function present in everyone, whether they recognize it or not. In the Red Book, Jung wrote, "Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." Here, visions are not mere fantasies. They are the capacity to see what does not yet exist, to sense meaning before consciousness has a name for it. Imagination is the underlying flame of the psyche. Not loud, not blinding, but it burns without ceasing. It is the faculty that allows you to dream of a future different from the present, see potential, even in darkness, feel your direction before there is proof, create things the world has never known. If memory belongs to the past, imagination is the land of the future. Today, neuroscience calls this process simulation. Jung called it symbolic activity. When you imagine stepping onto a stage, your heart may actually quicken. When you picture someone embracing you, your body can release oxytocin. When you recall pain, your stomach may clench. When you imagine falling, your brain activates balance regions. This means imagination has physiological power. Daydreaming can change the body. Visualization can produce real responses. Imagination is not mere play. It is an evolutionary tool that has accompanied humankind since we first stood upright. It helps you practice escaping a predator before facing one. It helps you rehearse speech before speaking. It helps you summon courage for situations that have not yet occurred. In the dark, when the scenes you imagine arise, remember, this is not weakness. This is the brain preparing you, protecting you, sharpening you. In Symbols of Transformation, Jung wrote, "Every psychic process is an image and an imagining. The mind does not operate first by pure reason. It works through images, through sensations and symbols. And daydreaming is the way the unconscious sends messages to consciousness. There are daydreams, there are night dreams, there are visions of the soul. All are the language of imagination. Each time you imagine yourself doing good, the unconscious guides you. Each time you dream of a wider life, the unconscious points the way. Each time you daydream what reason calls unrealistic, it may in fact be your truest voice. Daydreaming is not avoidance. It is an internal navigation system. Humans differ from other species in one crucial way: we can see what has not yet happened. When you rehearse a movement in your mind, your neurons fire accordingly. When you imagine a conversation, you train your reflexes. When you predict a situation, your body prepares the appropriate hormones. Prediction is not magic. It is survival logic. Jung called this the prospective function of the psyche. The psyche is not only conditioned by the past, but is also oriented toward the future. Your mind does not function as an error-detecting machine. It functions as a forecaster, always aimed at what has yet to arrive. This means you are born to look ahead. You are born to imagine a better possibility. You are born to prepare the world with your imagination. When you imagine a peaceful scene, your whole body quiets. When you remember a warm embrace, your heart opens and softens. When you picture yourself overcoming trials, your body secretes endurance hormones. Imagination does not merely produce feeling, it produces capacity for healing. This is why many psychological therapies use imagery. This is why Jung practiced active imagination, a technique he described in the Red Book, urging, sit with the images and let them speak. Imagination is the doorway into the unconscious. When we learn to listen, healing begins. Jung always emphasized that imagination does not contain only beauty. It contains what we avoid, fears, unhealed wounds, repressed desires, parts of ourselves we do not dare face. In Psychology and Alchemy, he wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Imagination is not only a place to produce lovely scenes, it is where the deepest truths of the soul are revealed. That is why some dreams confuse us, some imaginations unsettle us. They are not enemies. They are doors into the neglected parts of ourselves. Without imagination, we cannot learn, we cannot create, we cannot love, we cannot grow, we cannot survive, we cannot dream. Imagination is a map to guide us toward the future, a rehearsal space to practice skill before action, a teacher that helps us understand feeling a bridge between consciousness and the unconscious, a safe room to try and fail without injury, the fertile soil where every idea germinates, the wind that carries us toward a better version of ourselves. Without it, we are merely copies of yesterday. With it, we become the beings of tomorrow. It is no accident that children spend most of their time in imagined worlds. It is a biological instinct. It is how the mind develops. It is how the soul begins to name what it wishes to become. Adults do too, only we forget how to dream. But each time you drift into reverie before sleep, you return to your deepest nature. Daydreaming is the poem the unconscious writes upon the night sky of the mind. Even if you do not understand it, carries meaning. When we stand in uncertainty, prediction is not a sign of anxiety. It is the mechanism that helps us prepare, adapt, plan, strategy, protect ourselves, grow. And it all begins from a small spark of imagination, a whispered, "What if?" Before sleep, consciousness withdraws, and the unconscious steps forward. That is why, during this time, images grow vivid, ideas become clearer, feelings deepen, and predictions grow strong. The mind is no longer bound by strict logic. It is free to create, free to heal, free to weave scattered pieces into a whole. In that moment, imagination becomes the spring that nourishes the soul. And right now, as you listen to these words, your imagination is opening like a hingeless door. Perhaps Jung's most beautiful teaching about imagination is this: it is not mere fantasy. It is the faculty that shapes the future. Imagination is the lantern we carry through the night. Daydreaming is the soul's music. Prediction is the sail that carries us far. And in the soft haze of night, when everything becomes as gentle as breath, let your imagination be your companion, leading you across the dark, bringing you to places light has not yet touched. For it is from imagination, from images as fragile as mist, that life truly begins to take shape. 5. Emotion is a guiding system. In Part 4, we wandered through the gentle world of imagination, where the mind simulates the future, tests possibilities, and nurtures the seeds of creation. And something strange happens whenever we enter the realm of imagination. An image appears, and then an emotion rises, a vision flashes, and then the body responds with a new rhythm of the heart. A passing assumption forms, and then we feel anxious, excited, warm, or unsettled. This helps us understand something essential. Imagination does not operate alone. It awakens emotion, and emotion is the lantern that shows us what truly matters. Carl Jung once wrote in The Symbolic Life, emotion is the chief source of all becoming conscious. Without emotion, imagination is nothing more than scattered images. Without emotion, life becomes a map without a north. And this is where Part 5 begins. A journey into the profound role of emotion, the silent yet most powerful guiding system of the human soul. Imagine lying in the darkness of a familiar room. Nothing moves, no voices, no images. Yet even as everything seems so still that the world itself might have stopped, something inside you continues to shift. A hint of sadness, a trace of peace, a vague expectation, a formless worry, a warmth spreading from your chest to your hands. Even though you cannot see it, touch it, or describe it, the emotion is present, subtle as a breeze yet strong as an underground river. This reveals something simple and deep. Emotion is life. Emotion is the liquid flowing through every moment. Emotion is the guiding system of the soul. Many grow up believing that emotion is troublesome, that it clouds judgment and makes us impulsive. But modern neuroscience and Jung, from the depth psychological perspective, both show the opposite. Reason cannot function without emotion. In Psychological Types, Jung wrote, "There is no thinking without feeling, just as there is no feeling without thinking." Emotion is the energy that activates thought. Emotion signals what needs attention. Emotion determines what matters to us long before consciousness can respond. Reason is like a map. Emotion is like a compass. Without the map, we don't know the terrain. Without the compass, we don't know the direction. When you meet someone and instantly feel comfortable, it isn't coincidence. When you walk into a room and a sense of unease rises, it isn't weakness. When a single sentence makes your heart sink, it isn't oversensitivity. It is information. Emotion is how the unconscious sends data to the conscious mind. Before you think, you feel. Before you explain, your body already knows. If you learn to read your emotions, you learn to hear what the unconscious is trying to say. Emotion does not occur only in the mind. It manifests in the body. Jung emphasized that mind and body are one. Psyche and matter are two different aspects of one and the same thing. This means, when you are anxious, your stomach tightens because the autonomic nervous system reacts. When you are joyful, your body releases natural pain-relieving endorphins. When you are sad, your immune system weakens. When you love, oxytocin lowers your heart rate. When you fear, adrenaline tenses your muscles for fight or flight. Emotion and body never separate. They move together, two streams flowing as one. You may think you choose what to pay attention to, but in truth, emotion chooses first. When you love, you notice their eyes. When you fear, you scan for danger even in safe spaces. When you are sad, the world dims. When you are joyful, everything sparkles. Emotion decides what enters the frame of the mind. Without emotion, we would not know what is significant and what is not. Think back to the last time you jumped at a sudden sound. You reacted before knowing you reacted. That is emotional unconsciousness at work. It is thousands of times faster than rational thought. Jung called this affect. An affect is a state of feeling characterized by marked physical innervation. Emotion does not ask permission before acting. It acts to protect you. Because emotion is formed deep within the unconscious, where primordial memory, survival instinct, and ancient human wisdom reside. Words belong to consciousness. Emotion belongs to instinct. Words persuade with logic. Emotion persuades with inner truth. You can say, "I am not afraid," while your body trembles. You can say, "I'm fine," while your heart feels heavy. You can say, "I've forgotten," while the memory still hurts. Emotion cannot be fooled by language. Emotion moves straight to the core. Jung believed emotion tells us the direction of the self. He wrote in The Psychology of the Transference, "Emotion is the moment when the steel meets flint and a spark is struck. Truth is ignited through emotion. If something moves you, it touches something real within you. If a dream leaves you unsettled, it points to what you haven't faced. If an image brings peace, it calls you toward your path. Emotion is how the self leads us through darkness. Many people judge emotion, good emotion, bad emotion, allowed emotion, forbidden emotion. But emotion is like weather. It is neither right nor wrong. It simply is. It carries messages. Fear says, something needs preparing. Sadness says rest or release is needed. Anger says a boundary has been crossed. Joy says you are aligned with your true nature. Anxiety says something is unresolved. Emotion is not meant to be silenced. Emotion is meant to be heard. Without emotion, there is no empathy. Without empathy, no love. Without love, humanity cannot survive. Jung believed emotion is the glue of relationships. Feeling is the function that values things. Whom we love, whom we dislike, whom we miss, whom we stay close to, all begin with emotion. Without emotion, life loses meaning. In Modern Man in Search of a Soul, Jung wrote, "There is no development without emotion. Emotion creates the crack. The crack lets in the light. The light brings us toward wholeness." Emotion is both a challenge and a gift. It teaches us to let go, love fear wisely, stand up and listen to the deepest truth within ourselves. And each time we face an emotion without fleeing, without judging, we take one more step on the path of individuation. Emotion is not a burden, not an obstacle, not a weakness. Emotion is a guiding system. Emotion is the voice of the unconscious. Emotion is how life whispers to us. And in the moment before sleep, when the body softens, imagination becomes gentle and the unconscious steps forward, emotion becomes its purest self. It is not loud, not judgmental, not demanding. It simply whispers, "This is what matters. This is what needs to be seen. This is what leads you back to yourself." 6. The mind never truly rests. We have just closed part 5 with the gentle awareness that emotion is not a nuisance but a guiding system, a secret compass that helps us know ourselves and steer our lives. And perhaps in that very moment when emotion settles like a night lake, you might think the mind finally gets to rest, but it does not. It is precisely in that stillness that another activity begins, deeper and more silent. If emotion is the lantern that lights the way, then behind that light, there is a finely tuned machinery that never stops sorting, organizing, suggesting healing, and moving you ever closer to the most whole version of yourself. Carl Jung once wrote in The Structure and Dynamics of the Psyche, "The psyche is continuously active, even when the conscious mind is at rest." And this is where our journey brings us to part 6, exploring the tender, mysterious truth that the mind never truly sleeps. Imagine a very quiet night. The room is dark. Footsteps outside fade away. The temperature drops as if the air too wants to sleep. You lie beneath a warm blanket, close your eyes, and it seems as if the world slowly blurs. 1 second, 2 seconds, and everything becomes so still you can hear your own breath. But in that exact instant, when you think you are sliding into an unconscious void, where thoughts and words no longer exist, a miracle occurs. Inside you, another world begins to move, a world that has never stopped moving. The body sleeps. Consciousness dims like a bedside lamp at the end of the day. But the unconscious, the deepest part of you, begins to work most intensely. Jung believed that much of what shapes a person's life does not happen while we are awake, but when consciousness no longer obstructs the mind's natural flow. In Modern Man in Search of a Soul, he wrote, "The unconscious works on the contents of the mind and brings hidden things to the light. When you sleep, the unconscious gathers scattered pieces of memory, reorganizes unfinished emotions, tidies up things you did not get to process during the day, creates symbols to speak truths you have not dared face, rewrites the inner story toward healing." Sleep is not suspension. It is a different kind of activity, deeper, subtler, more primal. Nowhere is this inner activity clearer than in dreams. Jung said in dreams, "The dream is a little hidden door in the innermost and most secret recesses of the soul. When we dream, memory is restructured, pain is processed through imagery. Inner conflicts are enacted within a safe setting. Hidden desires slip past the censor of consciousness. The darkness within the soul appears so it can be seen. Dreams are not merely night stories. Dreams are the mind's surgical theater. If by day we live to meet the world, by night we dream to meet ourselves. There are moments when you sit still, staring into nothing, and someone asks, "What are you thinking?" You reply, "Nothing at all." But the truth is, in that moment the mind is working so deeply, consciousness cannot keep pace. It is scanning recent experiences, comparing them with old memories, predicting future responses, rearranging belief systems, adjusting identity, balancing emotion. That not thinking is not emptiness. It is the unconscious laboring in its deepest silence. Jung describes this in the archetypes and the collective unconscious. There is a thinking which is not thinking. It is thought without words, unstructured, non-conceptual, yet so powerful and precise that it reshapes the entire course of your soul. When daylight fades, the mind returns to its most ancient architecture, the structure that once helped our ancestors survive. Night is the time when the senses withdraw inward. The collective unconscious opens. Archetypal images emerge. Emotions become purer. Instincts speak. Dreams of forests, seas, animals, earth, fire are not random. They are the language of the soul carried across thousands of years. In the dark, we do not only see our own life, we see the echo of human history within our minds. In deep sleep, the brain does more than store memories. It reconstructs them like a craftsperson reordering an old archive. Important memories are brought forward. Painful memories are softened. Extraneous details are discarded. New lessons are integrated into belief systems. This is why after a good night's sleep you feel clearer. Sadness lightens. Decisions become clearer. Intuition grows stronger. Jung wrote, "The unconscious sees further than the conscious mind. While you sleep, the unconscious looks toward the future on your behalf. There are nights when you lie still as if the mind were empty. But that silence is only a surface. Beneath it resides movement, ordering, struggle, healing, rebirth. The mind is like an underground river, invisible but flowing without end." Jung said, "The psyche is an auto-regulating system. It self-balances, self-repairs, keeps you alive, cleans up what you have not yet tended. When consciousness turns off the light, the unconscious remains in the room. It does the work. Consciousness cannot face fears you avoid, soothe wounded parts, decode inner conflicts, soften painful memories, name what you dare not speak. The unconscious is the night worker. When the world sleeps, it repairs your soul's house. When you sleep, the brain runs future scenarios, predicts reactions, devises coping strategies, builds faster reflexes, consolidates what you will need for tomorrow. You don't know, but the unconscious is preparing you. Like an artist sketching the blueprint of a new life each night, the unconscious draws a few strokes. Slow, steady, unseen, yet always aimed toward growth. When you lie still, the body's energy no longer needs to feed muscular activity. It turns to serve learning processes, memory linking, neural healing, emotional sorting. A motionless body is a gift to the mind, because in your silence, the mind can do its deepest work. When all noises fade, we hear the inner voice. When all images vanish, we see the inner darkness. When masks fall, we touch the true essence. Jung described this in the Red Book. In the deepest night, the images rise from the soul. Nowhere is the mind as honest as it is at night. No moment is more genuine than the space between waking and sleeping. It is when coverings fall away, and we see ourselves not through a mirror or a role, but in our most primal presence. You are not alone in the night, nor are you abandoned when consciousness lets go. There is a part of you deepest, most faithful, most patient, always there, working for you, protecting you, guiding you through darkness, helping you heal and leading you toward your more whole self. The mind never truly rests, because the soul never stops, because the journey to become your true person never ends. And now, as you close your eyes, as the voice grows softer, as the world outside sinks into silence, let the knowledge rest lightly in you that the mind continues to love you in its own quiet way as it guides you into deep sleep. And so, after walking together through 6 quiet lands of the psyche, where the unconscious beats, as life's secret pulse where reality is constructed rather than merely received, where memory and identity flow like water, where imagination stretches the hand of the future, where emotion serves as inner compass, and where the mind never stops working, even in apparent stillness, we come to perceive a quiet marvel. It is this: the human mind is not merely an instrument for thinking. It is a living being, continually transforming, continually conversing with itself, continually guiding us through depths consciousness cannot reach alone. Perhaps when you began listening to this video, you only wanted something to help you relax and sleep after a long day. But now at the close, may you also receive another gift, a renewed intimacy with your own mind. No longer strange, no longer frightening, no longer a dark territory to avoid. The mind, with all its complexity, can be the truest companion on your life's path. For now you know that the unconscious is not an abyss to fear, but a place of intuitions, foundational memories, and gentle movements upon which consciousness depends. The reality you perceive is not the only truth, but the way your mind tries to protect, console, and organize the world into a structure you can bear and understand. Memory does not trap you. It can be rewritten, reshaped, and brightened by understanding and self-compassion. The self is not an immutable stone, but a flowing river, flexible, adaptive, and ready to become better versions of itself. Imagination is not empty fancy, but a core power that helps you learn, create, heal, and aim toward the future. Emotion is not an enemy, but a subtle compass, always pointing to what matters and what needs attention. And the mind, even while you sleep, loves you in its way, rearranging memories, healing fissures, softening tensions, and opening doors you did not see in the day. In the night, we realize nothing within us is truly alone. If daytime life pulls us into countless roles, responsibilities, and expectations, night is the rare moment we truly return to ourselves. Between steady breath and dimming light, we recognize a deep part of us longs to be touched. Another part longs to be understood. Another waits to be healed. And all these parts belong to you, unified, whole, and rightful. Jung believed the whole human journey is a process of returning to the self, the creative, primal, deepest part of each person. That path does not begin in noise. It begins in silence, in listening. In moments like this, when you are letting yourself fall into the gentle depths of the mind. And now, as our exploration draws to a close, you do not need to remember everything. You do not need to understand every layer. Trust that your mind will keep what is necessary. The unconscious will process the rest while you sleep. You only need to relax, let all you have heard settle, like golden dust, gently, slowly, without force, without striving. Tonight, the mind will continue its work, sorting, healing, dreaming, renewing, and clearing the way for morning. And you only need to let your eyes close, let your breath soften, let your body melt into the safety of this moment. So before we say goodbye, allow me to offer you a few very gentle words. May you have a deep sleep where the mind is free to flow like a calm stream. May your dreams be healing where the unconscious whispers the kindest things. May your heart rest so that tomorrow you awaken with a new light, peace as soft as first daylight. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let the night enfold you. Good night.